Fruits and vegetables are frequently cooled to preserve pre-harvest freshness, their flavor, and to extend their storage and shelf life. In general, there are used refrigeration temperature to storage fruits and vegetables, because in this case we will save more their nutritional value and their nutrients, their quality. If we use freezing process, we will lose some of this quality, but not at all, because even freezing process is very important for some vegetables and even for some fruits to be stored for more time and to be used from the consumer. Of course, using refrigeration, even freezing, are processes that helps to store these food products without affecting negatively into the quality of the food product. They can affect very slightly, but the nutritional value of this food product is almost completely saved. After harvesting, fruits and vegetables should be cooled for preserving their quality and their nutritional value. But cooling before the product is shipped to the market or storage at storage warehouses is known as pre-cooling. The cooling requirements for fruits and vegetables vary greatly. For example, we can mention here perishable foods which are known for high content of water. These products, because of the water content, are very problematic because they may deteriorate during the storage. This is the reason that these products must be cooled as soon as possible after harvesting. Here we can mention some of them, like broccoli, tomatoes, carrots, leafy vegetables, apricots, strawberries, etc. But there are another group of food products, like of fruits and vegetables, like potatoes, pumpkins, green tomatoes, that cooling is not necessary or as important for a long lasting of fruits and vegetables. Another thing that I want to emphasize is that the refrigeration capacity of pre-cooling facilities is usually much larger than of the cold storage facilities, because the refrigeration equipment should be used for different activities. For example, for ice making during the day or during the night, and for pre-cooling this food product, these fruits and vegetables, during the day after harvesting them. As I said, all fresh fruits and vegetables are live product, because they continue to respire even after harvesting, and these may last for days or even weeks. It depends on condition of the storage. Well, during the respiration, some sugar molecules like glucose combines with oxygen and give dioxide, carbon and water. Well, heat of respiration is released during this exothermic reaction, which adds to the refrigeration load during cooling of fruits and vegetables. Well, the rate of respiration varies strongly from many components, but mostly it varies strongly with the temperature. Let's mention some of pre-cooling methods that I use for fruits and vegetables. The first one is hydrocooling. Well, this is a method which is popular and effective of pre-cooling fruits and vegetables, and is done by immersing the product in cold water or just spraying cold water over them. Compared to air, water is a good medium for heat transfer. The temperature difference between the product surface and the cooling water is normally less than 0.5 degrees. To reduce temperatures by immersing fruits or vegetables in cold water, usually it takes time. For example, for peaches it takes about 0.4 hours, but for citrus fruits it takes 0.7 hours, and this is not a problem because citrus fruits usually are not cooled. Water used in hydrocooling system is normally recycled to save water and energy, but this recycling also should present some problems. For example, the microorganisms that came with fruits and vegetables. In this case, chemicals like chlorine are usually used or added, usually at the rate of 50 to 100 mg per kilogram of water, and these chemicals helps to reduce the multiplication of bacteria in the water. Another method is forced air cooling. Well, this method has an advantage because it is simple and easy to maintain, and which is important, there is no problem of leakage. But this method is not so effective like hydrocooling system, because heat transfer coefficient in this system are much lower than those encountering in hydrocooling, and of course the cooling of fruits and vegetables by these methods will takes more longer. However, cooling time can be reduced by spacing the product containers and allowing for airflow throughout. Different methods of forced air cooling are used even today, but let's mention an example like cut flowers are usually cooled by forced air cooling. Another method that I'm gonna mention is vacuum cooling, which is a process based on reducing the pressure of sealed cooling chamber to the saturation pressure at the desired low temperature and evaporating some water from the product to be cooled. Well, in this case the heat of vaporization is absorbed by the food product, and this may affect negatively because it affects in lowering the product temperature, and this is not a good thing because it makes it placed in danger position the freezing process, so the product is freezed at the right level or not. But also this process may need extra work, and extra works means extra costs. In vacuum cooling there are two distinct stages. Well, in the first stage the products are placed at the room temperature, for example at 20 degrees, and they are loaded into the flash chamber, and in this case the operation starts. The temperature in the chamber remains constant until the saturation pressure is reached. But in the second stage the saturation pressure starts until the low temperature desired is reached, and usually this temperature is slightly above 0 degrees. And the last method is packaged icing. Well, this method is used in small scale application to remove field heat and keep the product cool during the transit. But this method is limited to products that are not harmed by any contact with the ice. Also, the ice provides moisture as well as refrigeration, so there are some problematic using the ice. Uh, if we want that the fruits to be stored for a long time, we should be sure to have just fruits with no mechanical injury. Also, these fruits must be harvested when they are mature, because if they are under mature, these fruits will not ripen properly. But if they are over mature, there's a possibility of deteriorating rapidly during the storage time. So it's important that the harvesting will be at the right time. Also, it is important that fruits and vegetables must be cooled as soon as possible after harvesting, because some fruits may deteriorate in a day as they do in 1 week if they are kept in cold storage. Also, another problematic of fruits and vegetables are the microorganisms that are presented on them, and these low temperatures helps them to inhibit or to stop the activity of these microorganisms that are on fruits and vegetables. Well, we have talked about fresh fruits and vegetables and how do we use refrigeration and freezing to preserve this food product with high quality and especially to be safe for the consumers. Well, let's talk now about meat, poultry and fish. And how do we use refrigeration and freezing for this product? Meat carcasses in slaughterhouses should be cooled as soon as possible to a uniform temperature of about 1.7 degrees, and this because we want to reduce the growth and the development of microorganisms that might be present in these carcasses, and especially to minimize their spoilage. Well, refrigeration and freezing are used mostly to improve the storage condition for this product, and choosing the right level of any factors that might affect to the product. For example, choosing the right level of the temperature, humidity and air motion should be selected to prevent the excessive shrinkage, toughening and discoloration. So, to prevent different aspects of changes of the product. In quality aspects or even in the appearance aspects. Well, the deep body temperature of an animal after slaughtering is about 39 degrees. This because the temperature tends to rise a couple of degrees because of heat generating during the biological reactions that occurs in cells after slaughtering on these animals. And to monitor or to control the temperature of the carcass during the storage, it is advisable to insert a thermometer deep into the carcasses. So in this case we will control the temperature and we will control the right conditions for storing this food product. We should know that 70% of the beef carcass is composed by the water, and this is the reason that the carcass is cooled mostly by evaporative cooling as a result of moisture migration toward the surface where evaporation occurs. But this is accompanied with a loss of 2% of total mass during the chilling. And to evitate this excessive loss of mass, carcasses in general are washed or sprayed with water before starting the cooling process. This wash or spray chilling can eliminate carcass cooling shrinkage almost entirely. poultry products. Well, if we want to preserve this product, we have to choose one of the two methods that are mostly used in food industry. The first one is ice chilling, and the temperature used for these methods are between 1 to 2 degrees. Or the second method is deep chilling. In this method there are two aspects. If we want to storage these poultry products for a short time, then the temperatures that we have to use is -2 degrees. But if we want to storage for a long time, we have to use other temperatures like -18 degrees or below. Well, in general, the poultry processes are completely automated. So these, because the small size of the chicken or birds makes this more easier, this process. Let's mention the stages that, for example, birds should pass through their processing. The birds firstly are electrically stunned before cutting to prevent the strangling, and after a minute or 2 minutes after the bleeding time, and then the birds are scalded by immersing them in warm water, which the temperatures of this water usually varies from 51 to 55 degrees, and they stay in this cold water for 2 minutes or more, and this process helps to lose the feathers, makes this process more easier. After losing the feathers, the carcass is washed thoroughly before starting the chilling process. The internal temperature of the birds, it ranges in general at from 24 to 35 degrees after washing, and these temperatures are mostly because of the water used during their wash, or just the room temperatures is different, and these may affect on the internal temperature of the birds. Well, let's talk now about the refrigeration of fish. Well, fish is a highly perishable product, and its preservation starts as soon as it is caught. Well, fish in general deteriorates very quickly because of any bacterial and enzymatic activities. But with a refrigeration system, these activities are reduced, and of course their spoilage are delayed. Well, different species have different refrigeration requirements. For example, the fish caught in the Arctic water in winter are frozen by the cold weather. So, and these fish are marketed as frozen fish. And in general, they are stored in tanks or in containers of refrigerated seawater at -1 degrees. But another thing happens with fish which is raised in aquaculture farms. They are usually stored in containers covered with ice. Well, ice is another problematic in fish industry, because they might be a source of any bacterial contamination. And in general, this ice is made from chlorinated or potable water, and in general these are chlorinated because in this case we will stop or inhibit any microorganisms that might affect on fish product. Fish are normally stored in chill rooms at 2 degrees, and as they wait for their processing. They are packed in containers with 2 or 16 kilograms capacity, 2 to 16 kilograms capacity in wet ice after processing and transported. Well, it is desirable to keep these fish during the transportation in uniformly chilled within the temperature 0 to 2 degrees. Well, as we said, different species have different refrigeration requirements. So, large fish, for example, are usually eviscerated, washed in ice. But if we talk about smaller fish, such as ocean perch or flounder, they are iced directly without any processing. And we cannot say the same for lobster and crabs, which are usually stored alive on the vessel without any refrigeration. Well, in general, the maximum storage life of fish is 10 to 15 days if it's properly iced and stored in the right temperature conditions, which might be 0 to 2 degrees. Also, high importance is given to the humidity of the storage place, which should be over 90%. And the air velocity should be low to minimize the dehydration. Well, in general, the shelf life of fresh fish can be doubled or tripled if they are treated by ionizing radiation. So there are some other processes that may be used for extending the shelf life of this product. At the end, let's talk about transportation. Well, perishable food products are transported by different vehicles, but the most popular that are used are trucks and trailers, railroad cars, ships, airplanes, or just a combination of them from production area to distant markets. Well, in general, transporting food product to a short distance may not require any special handling, but in general, problematic is when we want to transport large quantities for long distances, which usually may require a strict climate control by the refrigeration and an adequate ventilation. For example, in trucks and trailers, they should have several compartments held at different temperature, and in this case should be controlled even the light that is used in these compartments. Well, if you want to get more information about freezing and refrigeration system, you can browse the literature that are listed on the screen. Well, this was the lesson for today. Hope it was interesting and useful for you. See you on the next lesson.